1970, we sure we did the forefront. Knowledge for selfish, for sure we did the work. Auditorium to basement of all faculty of law. We did represent, stand tall anywhere we go. Work hard and we shine, commitment, dedication. Neurosurgery, comedy, music, Nollywood. SOTK, Dr. Call, MC Casino. We did represent, stand tall anywhere we go. Great UNIBEN, great UNIBEN, great UNIBEN, great UNIBEN.
Hello, viewers. Welcome to another episode of the UNIBEN Alumni Series. As you know, this is a program where we showcase the very best of UNIBEN alumni, where men and women that have gone through one of the greatest tertiary institutions in West Africa. They come share their stories here. And on today's edition, we have a great alumnus with us, a great ambassador of our institution. Is the member representing Ovia North East Constituency 1 at the Edha State House of Assembly. Is also the candidate of the NDC for the Ovia Federal Constituency in the forthcoming election. Is Honorable Charity Aiguobarueghian. Thank you very much, Honorable Charity, for joining us today.
Yeah, bless my brother. Good evening.
Good
evening, Nigeria.
Good to finally have you here, sir.
I'm happy to be here.
Yes.
It's been some time coming.
Yes.
And, I see it a rare privilege to be counted as one of those that is represented in this very wonderful platform, and especially concerning our great institution, the UNIBES, the best university south of the Sahara. Yes, it's going to be an engaging one, I trust, because other students I've watched have lived more than expectation. Except to just add that my full name is Charity Iguodala Aiguobarueghian. Iguodala is very important for me.
That is true, because that is where we get the CIA from.
Yes.
Yes. Very, very correct, sir. Honorable was the former majority leader of the Edha State House of Assembly, and also a former minority leader. But I need to clarify that. Honorable, are you still the minority leader, or you're a former minority leader?
No, I'm a minority leader yet. The change has not been effected.
Okay.
So I'm a minority leader even today. What happens tomorrow, we are not in charge.
Oh, that is true. Honorable, let's start from politics before we trickle down to our institution, UNIBEN. I just want to ask. I know there are some interview, or there are some places you have given response to this particular question, but I want to hear it directly from you here. I just want to ask, why did you not defect to the APC? Like other members of your party then, the PDP, when the APC took over the executive arm of Edha State government?
It's a question I've answered at several fora.
Yes.
It's a question I always answer because it seemed to be an issue.
It is strange in our politics.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Well, the real answer to that matter is that it was not the right thing to do. It was not the right thing to do because it will be like a great disservice to those who invested trust in you. Like I've always explained each time I'm confronted with this question, I was elected in an election that the APC contested in. So what happened is that on the day of election, the people of Ovia North East constituency, having a choice between the PDP and the APC, decided to elect the PDP. So if at any point in time while that tenure runs, I decide to go and join the APC, the only reason I could do that is if the electorate collectively say, let us move to the APC. If not, it will be a betrayal of trust, because having chosen, they should have the right to get what they chose. For example, if you go to this app to order things, and you order a particular commodity, and you are supplied another, I'm sure you'll not be happy, because there will be no satisfaction of merchandise. So what the people of Ovia North East Constituency 1 chose on the day of my election is what I made available to them. And except they said, oh, this matter, we want to change it, we want to change the order, it will be a betrayal of trust and a failure of confidence to do anything otherwise. So to that extent, I stood straight with my constituents. And I'm happy to announce that the bulk of the Ovia people stood by me in that decision, because at all time I consult. I'm not a politician that stays in town and start permutating politically. No. What I do is that I go to my people. I'm always with my constituents. I was also there today. I was there yesterday. So I feel their pulse. And until they say, oh, it is right, it is ripe, there's no action that I'm going to take, knowing that I draw my powers and my authority from the grassroots.
Okay, thank you for that response, Honorable. But did that decision, did it in any way shortchange or affect the quality of presentation to your people, especially as it is the usual language for politicians? That's what they usually say, that while they are moving to the other parties to align with the center, to have more representation or more quality representation to their people. Do you think that that decision to stay put, becoming an opposition in the state, did it affect development, or did it affect any project or any law you would have done for your people?
Well, as for the issue of representation, I will say no, because if you recall, sir, in every democracy, what actually drives it is not the fact of your being in the majority. It is the fact of your capacity to represent your constituency, especially from the platform with which you were chosen. I was chosen under the PDP platform. And like I said before, all these other parties existed. So I must represent them from the prism of that platform that I got elected. So there was there's nothing at all that has happened that will make me to say that my representation is diminished, because whatever that is available to my constituency, I fight to get. I fight very seriously. I don't leave any stone unturned, because I know that which is accruing to my constituents, and I go all out for it, especially against the backdrop of the fact that this present 8th Assembly have the very advantageous and prestigious status of being one of the few houses of assembly in Nigeria that have financial autonomy. So if there is financial autonomy for us, and a certain amount A or B is accruing to the house, then I should be able to put my eyes on the ground to say, oh, if this is what came, then 24%, that is a charity to 24, and give me my part to my constituents. And if you don't do that, like we used to say in UNIBEN, now waiting I want, I go get. If you are not given to me, I go verse. If I verse, all of you now go regret. So I will ensure that what is available or what is accruing to my people is given to them. And so far so good. I have not been shortchanged in the area of material. Yes, the whole house have been shortchanged in what ought to come to the house. But I have not been shortchanged as Honorable Charity Iguodala Aiguobarueghian representing Ovia North East 1.
Okay.
I have not, because I have put my foot on the ground and my eyes glued to the goal, so I don't miss. But if you say about lawmaking, I will say yes, I have suffered some setback in the area of lawmaking. I know that it was easier for me as a member of, as the majority leader, as a matter of fact, to push bills and have it pass into law. That is why in the space of less than 1 year and 5 months, we are able to pass 47 bills into law. And I have a couple of bills now that I'm pushing as a private member bills that have not been able to move on. And it is regrettable, but it is what it is. When things happen like this, we have to weigh the pros and the cons. And I'm not so sure if I were a member of the APC, it would have gotten better. Because unlike what used to be, the house is no longer running a steady calendar. And there's too much hiccup. But what do one do? That is my only regret. That there are some bills, there are some motions that I ought to move that are not coming to fruition as I would have desired. But I also have recognized with life that we don't get it all.
That is true. Sir, you mentioned that the house as a whole has been shortchanged, not Ovia North East Constituency 1 or Honorable Charity. And that's also a growing concern for most Nigerians when it comes to the legislative. Most Nigerians have said the legislature has become an extension of the executive. This is not just about Edo State. This is about the State House of Assemblies and the federal house, the federal houses as well, the Senate and the House of Rep. What's your thought about that? We have seen a lot of people calling the houses rubber stamp, and we've seen the actions of the leadership of these houses. It has not been anything contrary to how they've been termed. So for you, what's your own thought about houses being called rubber stamp, especially current ones?
Yes, I will agree with those who say the houses are acting in a way that portray redundancy and unnecessary dependence on the executive. I will agree, except to mention that the reason for that from the beginning is the quality of representation. The quality of representation is watered. There are some constituencies where it is a taboo for you to be an inquisitive mind, for you to be a thinking mind in order to go for legislative representation. And what you hear them say is that, oh, we want somebody that is malleable. We want somebody we can use. And you begin to think, what kind of use do they want to put the person to? Is it use in excellence or use in redundancy? And the latter is always the case, because they want somebody that they can tell, go and kill yourself, and they will not ask questions before he does so. Once upon a time in this state, a House of Assembly voted against its own autonomy, that we don't want autonomy. That is a man saying, I don't want independence. So I'm not surprised that that is happening. And another thing is party politics. The party politics is very bad. A party that says the governor is the leader of the party, it means that the governor will determine whoever gets what. So if the governor perceives you as somebody that is not aligning with his principles, that is not aligning with his policies, that is not aligning with his oppressions even, that you are not allowing the government to oppress the people, he sees you as an obstacle, and you are somebody that is targeted to be taken out. So if the nomination of a member of the House of Assembly, if the nomination of the member of the House of Rep, if the nomination of the Senate, the senator representative of the senatorial district is at the pleasure of the executive governor of the state, then you are not going to get courageous and purposeful representation, because Assuming by mistake you become one, know that you are going to do a one term, because they will say you are not kowtowing to what desire they have. And most times these desires are not unselfish, they are not altruistic. They are usually desires that are pursuing desires that are pursuing desires that are pursuing oppression and suppression of the popular needs of the people. So at the bottom of it is these 2 points I made: the quality of representation. But the quality of representation is a direct correlate with the mode of selection, especially at the primaries level, when the headhunting of members of these legislative bodies is usually based on who is more likely to comply to our desire.
Okay, thank you for that. Let's talk about your ambition. You are running for the House of Representatives for Ovia North East and Ovia Southwest. Why are you running? What made you? Why didn't you seek re-election for Ovia North East one at the Edo State House of Assembly? Why do you think this is the right time to move higher to represent the federal constituency?
To just put the question in perspective, first, let me just say straight away that one excellent tongue deserves promotion. When we were growing up that time, we used to even have double promotion. This one is just a promotion.
Okay, that is to be, you have to be scored by the Ovia people.
Yes,
judged by the yes.
They have scored me, my brother. You need to see everywhere. See what you see on social media is even the least. If you see me go to our villages, to Usen, to Udo, to Iguobazuwa, to Kada, to Uhen, to Kiadolo, everywhere is CIA, everywhere is charity. Let's give it to charity. Why? Because in my first 3 years in the House of Assembly, I have shown to the people that it is possible to be a leader that serves. It is possible to take that which is belonging to the people with honor and give it to them with dignity. You don't need to denigrate a person before you assist. I'm not going to go to personal interventions that is too numerous to mention. But let me just first of all say that there is no constituency that will not be happy that within the space of 3 years, 8 schools are built fully and furnished with state-of-the-art chairs and board for children to learn. It is unprecedented. That is a matter that a member of the House of Assembly could do. And these monies are money that some cannot even account for. But we have built 8 schools. We have distributed 7 transformers in our localities. And people hear about this. What the Ovia people are saying that what you did in Ovia North East Constituency 1, please come and replicate at the Ovia Federal Constituency level. We want to be feeling direct impact on our constituents. I don't talk about street lights. That's not because I did not supply. I supplied about 500 street lights in my constituency, but I don't think that is a big deal that we'll be talking about. We should be talking about more impactful projects, like the water that is flowing in every corner of Ovia North East 1. We say, let there be water, and there is water. People are fishing. There are areas where they thought it was not possible for them to have electricity, like down power line in Iguodala. We gave them 500 kVA transformer. Not only are we buying transformers, we buy and install. And it will interest you to know that it is almost the same amount that you used to buy transformer that will take you to install it these days. So what some corny politicians do is that they will buy and donate transformer. Who will now fix it? What we do is that we buy, we install, and make sure that electricity is supplied. So people that are there are now announcing to other people outside that look at what we have been able to gain by virtue of purposeful and responsive representation. And the people of Ovia are now saying, if we could do this at the level of the House of Assembly, we wonder what our lot will be if it gets to the federal level. And that is why they are saying that they are in support of an excellent term being a promotion to another level of intervention. Ours is actually an intervention. We are not ambitious just as to be called honorable. After all, we already have that. What we are asking for now is that we want to be that kind of representation of our people that will be a talking point like it is now the State House of Assembly. But when you talk about representation in the House of Assembly today, they say charity. So we also want to make it happen at the federal level, so that at the table of decision, at the table where growth and development is discussed, Ovia will be there.
Okay, thank you, sir. Politically speaking, now you've read out a lot of things you've done for your constituency. But this is politics, and we do not take away the gladiators when it comes to politics. The current occupier of the Ovia federal constituency is from the APC, and she is from your own local government area. Then the deputy governor of the state is from the other local government, which makes up the federal constituency. The presence of these political heavyweights and other members of the party, how prepared are you to challenge them for that seat?
We do not by any means undermine the fact that it is a matter of I won't say Herculean, because that's the first word that came to my mouth, but it's not an easy matter, and we have never also deceived ourselves in that regard. But what we are sure of is this: every other person that has political relevance, myself, His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Edo State, who happened to come from the other side of Ovia, and by God's grace, who will be my constituent by January 17th. Then every other name mentioned, we all are only entitled to one vote. And that is the only vote that you can give. You cannot give more than you have. At the end of the day, it is the people of Ovia that are going to vote. And they are going to vote for character. They are going to vote for competence. They are going to vote for presence. They are going to vote for friendship. They are going to vote for availability. So by the time they now do that, no title can remove it. After all, His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Edo State, won the said House of Rep election in Ovia constituency when the PDP was the party that had sway. And why did he win? Because he has character, because he has capacity, because he has appeal by the people. That same appeal that he exuded is what we have exceeded. Because, for example, in the UNIBEN community, everybody is shouting CIA there because I am one of their own. I am not just the member representing the school. I am a student of, I graduated from the school, 2001 set of Faculty of Law. I did masters there. In short, I'm a student of UNIBEN as we speak, because I'm doing my PhD in law there. So, and I have so many other of my people there that are citizens of UNIBEN. So when I get to UNIBEN, for example, I am at home, and you see all the surrounding villages where the real vote is in Ovia are my own people. They know me by my name. They know me by my intervention. Once upon a time, 7 villages in Ovia constituency 1, the Igosa, Oluku, Duonwina, they were in total darkness for a time of 1 year and 3 months. It took my election and my intervention for them to have light restored by the installation of a 20 MVA transformer. The people will not forget, because when they cried, it was only one person that answered them. A time was when Okoko and Uye word we are in perpetual subjugation as a result of occupation by the marauders. And we promised that if we are elected, those people will be driven out of that place. And by God's grace, when we got elected, what we promised, we did. Today, they are able to go to farm. They are able to do. In short, everybody had left the villages in those areas at that time. Odigwetwe, Odiri, Uboke. People had left their farmland and their means of livelihood. But upon our intervention, they were restored. You think they will forget charity? As a matter of fact, my dear brother, women that are giving birth to children of Ovia North East Constituency now name their children Charity. And that is after me. And we expect that all that is going to reflect in the election. We don't need godfathers. All we need is God, the Father.
Thank you for that. Let's talk about your previous party, the PDP. You stayed back with the PDP to the very last minute before you decamped to the NDC. Were you still hopeful that the once greatest party, as a politician once said, that the PDP will be in power for 50 years or so? Were you still hopeful that the party will be vibrant again? Was that the reason why you stayed back? And what made you lose hope and said, oh, you need to move at that point?
We were hopeful that some characters we have a rethink and maybe come to repentance, that they don't have to burn down a house that actually gave them shelter when they were nothing, a house that gave them popularity and that gave them national traction, that they are now exhibiting with dictatorial tendencies. But as long as we waited, the worse it became. And it became clear at the time that a man cannot stay in a burning house just to show courage, lest it will be consumed alongside. So we also had consultation with our people. You will recall that the national leader of the NDC, Sirake Dixon, was also in the same position as myself. He also was one person that stayed put with the PDP till the last moment. And he also hoped that things will happen. He did not leave as soon as the NDC was registered. He was still hopeful that, oh, maybe this matter can be solved, until it became a kind of gliding through the into the precipice. So because we do not want to have a premature end to our political aspiration and our political capacity to impact on society, it became obvious that we have to choose the very painful but survivalist route, because after all, it said that the first law of nature is survival. So we took that route not because we thought it was not easy, so to say. It was not easy to say, let us leave PDP, but it became necessary so as to preserve the burning passion to serve, our people. And the only thing we have to do was to look for a platform that can make that realizable. And what further platform can we go to than that established by a former top frontline PDP personality, a party that shares very deep philosophical trappings with the PDP, a party that shares affinity with the PDP. And this was not a decision that was lightly made, and it was after serious consultation with the Edo South Leadership Forum of the PDP, with the Ovia North East Leadership Forum of the PDP, and with the Ovia North East Constituency 1 Leadership Forum of the PDP. It was with their blessing, acceptance, and even very overt support that we had to move our quest to serve our people to the Nigeria Democratic Congress, the NDC.
Okay. Let's talk about our institution, University of Benin. Former students, still students. You are one name that we celebrate in the institution. We've seen what you did for the student leadership. They're always around you, and thank you for always opening your door to them. Thank you for always seeing them as your brothers in the struggle. What's one thing about UNIBEN culture that prepared you for public service, for public life?
Resilience. Resilience is one word if you want me to choose a word. But if you want me to talk, say a story, it will lead to tomorrow.
No, you can give us an abridged version of the story.
UNIBEN taught me to be resilient. UNIBEN taught me that it is possible to become whatever you want to be on earth. All you need to do is to set your mind to it. When I started UNIBEN in 1996, in short, immediately after admission was concluded, the incident of William Mbong happened. William Mbong was murdered in broad daylight, and the school was closed for some time until we were now set upon. So the story was rife in town. Everybody thought that, the school was going to be abandoned. But before you know it, the school bounced back, and it looked like such disastrous act never happened. And one thing I enjoyed fully in UNIBEN was that it was a complete mix of the rich, the middle class, and the poor. You don't know the distinction. Class didn't matter to us at all. What mattered was capacity. And it was in your capacity that you show resilience. So we became friends to children of the high and mighty, even though we are from very humble background. We pursued dreams without any inhibition. And we have to also thank some of our mates then who are from very rich home. They did not rub it off on us. Instead, for some of us that has the natural capacity in intellectual gymkhana, you see, they even sponsored our quest to acquire more knowledge by buying the books that we read. So for me, for example, I graduated from University of Benin as a lawyer without even having a library of up to 10 books. People bought them and we read them, and in reading them, we came out shining in terms of academic excellence. That is the spirit of sharing. We were able to share without diminishing you. A friend can see you in a canteen eating a plate of food that is not properly laced. Perhaps the food is too tilted towards carbohydrate, and it will respectfully provide a protein without making you feel less of the man that you really are. And you will also hear it from any other person, because he will also take it as a function of service to humanity. So we learned that spirit of giving without saying. We learned that spirit of humanitarian intervention without making the man lesser than who he is. And very early in my life, I also told myself that if I can benefit from charity, I will continue to do charity.
That's why your name is Charity. Lastly, sir, plan for UNIBEN if in January 2027 you emerge as the holder of the office of the Ovia constituency. Yeah, do you have a specific plan you have set aside for your constituency? I'm talking about the UNIBEN constituency now. Is there a project you have identified? You're a current student, so you move in at campus at times and you see, and have you identified anything that you think will benefit the UNIBEN community?
Yes, for one, let me start with the issue of electricity. I was one of the first people of UNIBEN extraction that donated money for the purpose of installing solar power to UNIBEN, not only because of its capacity at renewable energy that is not toxic to environment, but because of the stability of supply. And it is a painful thing for me that so many years after we graduated from the University of Benin, the perennial challenge of electricity is still there. And I know that it was a discount for us at the time we were in school, that we are not able to read as you want to. Sometimes you will suffer to go from hall 4 to Adric to go and read. Before then, with all those mighty mosquitoes that look like housefly perching on you, at the end of the day, there will be no light. We'll shut down NEPA. But that will not stop the mosquito from sucking. But it will deter seriously your capacity at intellectual assimilation at the time. So because of that, it is painful to my heart that even today, electricity is not an assured provision in the school. And it is a matter of urgent national importance for me, for example, that if I'm elected to the House of Representatives, no matter how it is done, I'm going to ensure that I galvanize UNIBEN caucus in the National Assembly, which I know is many, to ensure that stable electricity is restored or is installed, because it wasn't there before, is installed in UNIBEN, so that learning will be seamless, so that learning will be interesting, so that learning will not be interrupted unnecessarily by power failure. Then I also had on some occasion, I have to do some palliative in school, especially in the area of movable road. And we've had to intervene in building coverts around the JSQ area with personal funds. And that is because those areas are not actually properly taken care of in terms of tying of road. And this is not very expensive. A little contract of less than what some people used to do a holiday, we'll be able to put a facelift to those areas. It will not be difficult for me to quickly sneak such projects into the budget and follow up to ensure that those things are done. I mean, the tarring of the internal roads and the maintenance of them as time goes on. I also understand too that our library has improved. I went there, the library has improved from what it used to be, but it is not sufficient to serve the teeming number of students, because the population have also grown seriously. So, especially the electronic part of the library, we are going to do it in a way that it become attractive and it become interactive, so that academics, will not, being a global concern, will be easily activated and appeal that some of the bottlenecks that is put there by bureaucracy is removed, so that learning will be interesting, learning will be attractive. Then also we focus very seriously on the hostess. The hostel I don't want to say that we enjoyed, but if I also say we suffered, it will also sound too harsh. But we survived. The hostel that we survived when we were in school is not what we want our children to be going through. And and it's painful for me that is about the same state or even worse that the hostels are. I remember those days when we are not able to go to early morning class because we want to wait for when the toilets will be washed so that we can quickly use it before it is totally messed up. And I still get feelers from my nephews in school that that is still the state of affairs. It is not right at all. I think that more can be done if more hostels are provided, because some of the abuse that is done to this toilet is because of the number of people that have to use a facility. So it is the strain by way of numbers that now culminate in those abuse. And if we are able to provide more, yes, UNIBEN is doing a very wonderful project in improvement of hostel facilities by way of the PPP they are doing. But a direct government intervention can do more. We need a purposeful and intentional establishment of school-owned, that is government-owned hostels. Because apart from the 1 or 2 or 3 and 4 series that were built in the 80s and in the 70s, they've not been any real government hostels. The NDDC hostel is the last of government, and that is also an interventionist hostel. So government should come and build hostels for our children, hostels that is reflective of the rigors of intellectual intercourse that is going on in UNIBEN. Then hostels that should also reflect the excellence that our school is known for. So we will push that argument very strongly and firmly, and we'll make sure that such things is done in the school. Then in the area of learning, we will encourage this exchange, apart from pursuing for scholarship and bursaries, we will pursue very fervently exchange programs, because we have the product, we have the human capacity, so that both for our lecturers and our students, we will have a link with schools abroad where exchange program is done to enhance the value, of intellectual outcomes.
Thank you so much, Honorable. Thank you for your time. I know this is a quite busy time for you. Campaign might not have started in earnest, but for you who is a regular visitor to your constituency, as you mentioned earlier, you are always busy, you're always on the road. Thank you for creating this time to be part of this program.
It's my pleasure. I always have looked forward to this opportunity. It is not an easy one. Meeting with my people, I'm sure that many of my schoolmates, many of my classmates are going to see this being a very popular platform, and they will also be able to reconnect with us, and some of them will be even able to link up by way of course, so that we remember the days of yore, and I also remind them the need for them to give back to our great institution. It is my pleasure.
Thank you.
We are able to do more, assuming it is possible, for the good of our people. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. That's the end of the program for today. I've been speaking with Honorable Charity Iguodala Aiguobarueghian. He is the minority leader of the Edo State House of Assembly and the House of Representative candidate for the Ovia Federal Constituency. Continue to subscribe to our channel, bringing more exclusive interviews of UNIBEN alumni. Bye for now.